very bullish. But again, that news could change things, so we'll see what happens at news. Let's go down to a 1 hour time frame. Same kind of thing, still very bullish structure, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher highs, pushing through resistance levels. 1 hour order block down here for value gap underneath, good entry level there. Not a lot that I want to chart out on the 1 hour here. Go down to a 30-minute. Excuse me. So down on a 30-minute here. Let's look over the left of our charts. Same kind of thing. We have a lot of order blocks up top here on the left side that we're going to have to push through on most of our time frames. We can see we have this 30-minute fair value gap order block beneath as well. It looks like we want to continue to push up. 15-minute. Let's look at our Asia high, Asia low. Notice how every single time, not every time, but we do this so often. We form our Asia high and low. We come down, we sweep that Asia low, and then we pump and grab Asia highs and continue that pump through. So our structure on the 15-minute looks extremely bullish right now. So this is that 15-minute busy here. See if we want to respect that busy, continue up. We can just look at our structure overall on the 15-minute. Very, very bullish. Okay, very bullish. We got these liquidity levels above. Price is looking to target. Down the 15-minute here. Actually, I want to find our London high, London low as well on NQ. So we got our London low down here at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Eastern. It's our London low, and then we got our London high. Remember, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern is that London session, so it looks like our London high is up here at 5 a.m. I already got swept. Already got taken out. We've seen that pump all the way through. Okay, so we have news coming out at 10 a.m. Red folder news at 10 a.m. So we have about 25 minutes. So when we see such a bullish trend, I'm going to assume that the longs are going to continue here until we see an actual market structure shift or break of structure back to the downside. But look at this trend on the 5-minute, and we're actually setting up decent levels. So until I see an actual reversal pattern, until we see actual market structure shift or break of structure, I'm assuming the longs are going to continue here. Now let's look over here at ES. I want to see London lows, 3 a.m. London low there. We're kind of dropping aggressively here. And then where is that London high? 5 a.m. London high. Okay. So going back to that 15-minute. We have that 15-minute imbalance we got to keep an eye on. 15-minute order block. So we still have a lot of support down here. We're looking at the 5-minute. You can just see very strong trend, right? Very strong trend. My bias is still bullish overall. Now we just got to see that continuation of the trend. Okay, so we're having some pullback on market open. We can see 9:30 market open right here. We're trying to head down a little bit, probably grab some sell side liquidity. Doesn't surprise me very much. We can expect that. So just kind of waiting to see. Not looking to rush into a trade, but I am looking for the longs to step in. So I do want to start seeing if there's going to be a long setup here. We can see us bouncing off that 15-minute pretty strong right now. 5-minute, pretty strong bounce here. But yeah, not in a rush to jump into a trade, but I am liking the longs this morning. So as long as they can show us like a clear entry before our news comes out, and I want to give it like I'm not gonna get an entry within like probably 10 minutes of our news. But before that 10 minutes, I will look for an entry, see if we can find something. But I'd want to be out of my trade at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes before that news comes out. So let's see what we do here. Do we have news earlier? Maybe I skipped over that one. Wednesday. Oh yeah, so we have an orange folder at 9:45. You're right. We have that. What is that? Final services PMI, and then at 10 a.m. we have that ISM services PMI. So you're right. So not a red folder, but we still have orange folder news. So it's still medium impact. So we'll still see an impact. Right now the VIX is pumping. Yes, the VIX is looking bullish for now. So we'll see what kind of effect that plays on NQ, if NQ is going to actually drop from that. Like I said, I wouldn't be looking short whatsoever until I actually saw a break of structure or a market structure shift. Right, if we continue to make lower lows, lower highs, yeah, I would start looking for shorts at that point, but right now I'm still thinking long. Alright, so we just closed on the 5-minute. So let's see if NQ wants to keep heading down here. Let's go back to some of our higher time frame stuff. Alright, we can see we have support levels. We have a support level here on the 1 hour. We have this hourly order block here. We also have that fair value gap below that we traded into and pumped from. We can see, like I said, guys, on this 4 hour, go to the 4 hour. Strong 4 hour bearish order block here. And then above that 4 hour, we do have a bearish fair value gap. So we've got that liquidity above those highs. It's just if we can push through that resistance level. Can we push through that resistance level here? Okay, so I mean, so far still a little bit up and down, but it still looks to me like we're trying to bounce off that 15-minute imbalance. So we'll see. I'm not going to trade in this up and down chop right now. Really want to see something clear, especially since we came down and we made lower lows, lower high up here. So I need to see us really. I need to see NQ show me something really good for me to want to get an entry. It needs to be a solid entry, especially leading into news. I don't like to rush into trades leading into news when we just see an increase in volatility, and then we see just a very choppy market sometimes right before news comes out, so we don't really get the best follow through or the best entries on those trades. So we do have that orange folder event coming out in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's that final services PMI. And then at 10 a.m., again, we have that ISM services PMI. So we'll see how this news event comes out, how this data, if it comes out red or green here. So I won't be taking a trade until we see some news come out. Give it some time. See ES over here, 5-minute imbalance that we're in. Oops. Wrong one there. 5-minute busy over there on ES. You can see us respecting that equilibrium. 15 minutes about to close here, but I have that news come out. So I do want to see how this candle closes, if we're going to respect that 15-minute busy. Again, when we do have news release, we have data come out. Sometimes all of our technical analysis levels go right out the window, so got to be aware of that. Alright, so we got one more minute here. Again, so far market open, just very up and down. A lot of ranging, staying in this accumulation range here. So if you do look at forexfactory.com, you can see they put the data out for you right after. Whenever it processes, they upload that number onto the website so you can see if it was good news or bad news for the market. So like this morning, it was bad news for non-farm employment change. So we'll see here what happens. Getting that manipulation already. $15 minutes still closed, respecting that imbalance. Alright, so the news hit the mark. The news was exactly as expected. Exactly as expected. The forecast was 54.8. 54.8, and we got 54.8. So nothing drastic there. Nothing drastic there. Again, it's just our orange folder, so it's just medium impact. At 10 a.m. in 15 minutes, we're going to see more of an impact on that on our next data release. Check, check. You guys cannot hear me? Check, check. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? There we go. Okay, alright. One more check. Who can hear me? Who cannot hear me? Or who can hear me? Okay, alright. So yeah. Alright, that's good. Okay, so we come back up to the top. It seems like every once in a while Discord just has some major issues with something. Maybe I'll restart the stream here, just so I can get everybody in here listening. All right, I'm gonna restart my stream here, see if everybody can listen. I'll be right back. 1 sec. Hello, hello, hello. Check, check, check. Can you guys hear me? Alright, we're all good now. There we go. Just need a little reset there. Just need a little reset. And we are back. Alright, well, for those of you that couldn't hear, you didn't really miss much. Didn't miss much. Just talking about the news coming out. As expected, there wasn't any change in that data that just came out. So we're still ranging up and down. Still nothing good that I'd want to take right now. Again, we have news coming out in 10 minutes, so probably just going to wait for that news event to come out. Give it some time to kind of relax. Give it some time to kind of cool off. And then look for a trade. Again, I don't like jumping into trades right when we have news coming out. Too volatile. Too choppy. Price doesn't really want to do anything. Kind of just wants to hang out until that data is released. Typically is what we see. Alright, so overall, bias is still bullish today, guys. Overall, my bias is still bullish. Look at how we're setting up here. We've cleared that volume gap there. We're heading up and we're touching into this daily order block up top. We've got liquidity resting above, some external liquidity. 4-hour high here, 4-hour high up here, all-time highs again. So yeah, at this point we're just waiting for that news to come out. You can see how strong of a bullish trend we have. Very steep bullish trend. Still respecting that trend. Respecting that 15-minute imbalance as of right now. And we'll see what happens here. Again, I am in no rush to jump into a trade right now. Just like we talked about yesterday, when we see ranging, choppy price action, and I don't see anything clear on the 5 or the 15-minute that I'm ready to take, I'm not going to take a trade. I'm not going to take a trade 10 minutes leading up to news. A lot of divergence here right now. Look at how far ES is going down right now. ES is really dropping. It's already sweeping this low. So a lot of divergence. Looks like ES just went to go grab some liquidity there. NQ still staying up here, staying at the highs. Still respecting that 15-minute imbalance. Looks like, you know, right now it looks like we're setting up to go long, but again, we're going to see probably a good amount of manipulation until that news comes out. So no rush here. No rush whatsoever. All right, when we see that SMT divergence where ES comes down and takes out a key low, and then NQ does not, and NQ respects this 15-minute imbalance, we expect the longs to really step in, right? We expect the longs to pump, as we're seeing right now. But we have not broken out of any range, of this range yet, right? We have this opening range from this high up here, which we're trying to break out of right now. So these longs look like they're trying to step in. We'll see if they're just manipulating up right now. So this is our opening range right here from this high to this low. We're breaking out of that opening range up to the top right now. Definitely looks like longs want to step in. Again, I'm not going to get FOMO or anything because I know my plan and I know I'm waiting. I know what I'm waiting for. I know that I don't like to trade the news. Again, we still have to look at that 5 and the 15-minute time frame as well to see is this just going to be a buy-side liquidity sweep or if we're actually going to get displacement of those highs. Let's see, 15-minute bearish for value gap, you're saying? Over here. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're trying to take out this accumulation range up here, these highs, but we will see what happens with news. Everything could change. Everything could change with the news release. Okay, but you see us creating this fair value gap here underneath an order block, breaking out of that range. We would want to see the longs continue here. Again, this could be a manipulation, so just got to be careful. But seeing that strong SMT at the lows, ES going, grabbing that sell side liquidity, NQ pushing above, leading the way, respecting a 50-minute imbalance, going to break out of that opening range. Right, you would expect, here, let me share my charts with you guys. You would expect the longs to continue here. But here on 15-minute, Asia high and low are all the way down here. Asia high is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Asia low is at 9:15 p.m. Eastern. London low is all the way down here at 3 a.m. Eastern, and London high is up here at 5 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so we have 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes until this next data release. We can see this 5-minute candle swept liquidity and came right back down. Didn't displace above. So new hourly candle is about to form. You can see how bullish we're looking right now on our hourly time frame. On every time frame right now, we look very bullish. So we'll see how this data is gonna affect our market. We'll let it give us some direction, and then we'll look for a good setup after it calms down a little bit. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'm gonna be right back. 1 second. All right, I am back. I had to go give Nancy Pelosi a call and see what she planned to do with the market today. She said, "Why would I tell you? You're not in Congress." So then I just hung up on her. I was like, "Alright, we don't need you anyways." So we have 1 minute until this news comes out here. You can see it's not breaking out of that range. Just waiting for that news to come out. So I'm going to keep my eye on that news release. The expectation is 51. Typically, you want to see us be above a 50. Last number was 49.4. So we'll see what this one looks like here. Alright, so that news is being released right now. Look at that dump. Look at that dump. Let's see if this is just a manipulation here. Looks like a manipulation. That news came out positive. Okay, so it looks like we're manipulating down and that we're going to probably see these longs step in. Again, this is why I don't trade news, guys. This is why I don't trade news. Look at that crazy manipulation to the downside. That news came out very positive. Looks like that's just that manipulation that we're going to start pumping here. Again, we still got to be careful. Gotta give it, I'm still going to give it a little bit of time to kind of calm down. But we can see how we came down and grabbed by sell side liquidity, and now we are heading back up. Just think of all the people that had a position in. All the people that had a position in, whether, probably in the longs or even sometimes in the shorts. All the people that had a long position, had their stop loss somewhere down here, just got completely taken out. I mean, if you're in the shorts and you were able to sell quick, yeah, but it's still a gamble. It's still a gamble when you don't know what that news is saying. Okay, so I do want to see the long step in. Just gotta wait for the timing for the entry. We're still volatile right now, still moving a lot. All right, because let's look here. Let's say we got a long entry at the top. Say you got a long entry at the top here. Yeah, it could be pretty good. We could see that pump happen right now. Just not a really good stop loss level here. Right. Not really any good stop loss levels with this volatility right now. So I don't care if we do end up pumping and hitting that liquidity level and I miss out on it. I'm still waiting for that, for a good price action, for a good setup. So, I mean, we do still look very bullish. It looks like we're trying to break out of that opening range here. We did get displacement on the 15-minute. Good displacement. Trade down to that order block. We can see the manipulation right now. We can see the volatility. Right? Like, if you would have gotten that entry at the top, you would have just probably gotten stopped out already. No, I did not get in. I have not bought any positions yet. I like to give the market a little bit of time to kind of cool off after news is released, to stop doing all this stuff, stop doing all the manipulation, and just pick a direction. Right, we haven't broken out of that range just yet. I mean, on the 15-minute, we can see that we displaced, which is a good sign for those longs. We had positive news come out, so I do expect these longs to step in. But again, right now we're just kind of chopping, manipulating. More SMT at the lows here. ES is down, taking out that low again. NQ still sitting up top here. So don't let this stuff manipulate you and tempt you into rushing into a bunch of trades because you think that the breakout's going to happen right now. Like I said, I wanted to use this as an example because look, there's no good stop loss level for us. If we were to try to enter off the breakout, we would have gotten stopped out. Right, that's why I don't care about missing out on a move if there was no setup in the first place. It doesn't matter. I was like yesterday, I know we had that pump and that dump with, a lot of reward, but I didn't see any setup I wanted to take, so I didn't care about missing out on the move. Okay, so the 5-minute closed without displacement there. Exactly. Yeah. It's the worst feeling when you know you shouldn't be jumping into a trade because it goes against your strategy, it goes against everything that you say you want to do, and then if it works out, then you're like, then who can you give the credit to? You can't really give the credit to yourself on that one because you're just gambling. But if you lose the trade, then you gotta hold yourself accountable and you realize, well, I shouldn't have taken that trade in the first place. It's not a good feeling. And some people will take that trade and be like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen, but you didn't really know it was going to happen. You were just kind of gambling. You want to take trades where when you win, you can sit there and be like, okay, I had a really good idea on that trade. I had a very strong conviction. It worked out. Awesome. That's the best feeling in the world. As a trader, that is the best feeling. You had a plan, you executed your plan, you stuck with it, and it worked out. It's not as good of a feeling if you win off of a gamble, because then you're just like, well, yeah, I won, but that's not a sustainable it's not a sustainable trade I just took. So we're still sitting in this range here, getting a lot of retracement right now. No entries just yet. Let's see what kind of reaction we get once we come back down to the bottom of this range. A lot of SMT at the lows. Really just waiting for a nice setup that's going to take us to the highs. Going to take us to that buy side liquidity. We're taking out sell side already. But we're just chopping, ranging up and down here. Right, kind of like what we saw yesterday. Yeah, no, we had a big pump pre-market. Big pump pre-market. So now we're just accumulating, waiting for that next move. Really just Need to see a breakout of the range. I do like that we already displaced the high. I like that we already displaced the high of that range. Again, we didn't get any fall through, and we're just chopping right now. So really at this point, we have to wait for a fake out move, grabbing more liquidity, or a breakout move and a retracement. I'm not going to look to take a trade inside of this range right now. Unless maybe we come back down. Maybe we grab some sell side, come back down to VWAP again. And get another bounce, maybe we can scalp the longs back up to the high of that range again. If there's going to be a reversal pattern. So we're back into that 15 minute again. Bullish fair value gap down here. 15-minute bullish order block. Yeah, the fair value gap OB combo it's kind of one of my favorite entries to take. Oh, for sure. When you can like align that with the draw and liquidity, man, it's beautiful. When you see, especially on a 5 or a 15-minute time frame, you see that fair value gap form under or above an order block, and you already have that draw and liquidity, especially during silver bullet hour. That is one of the best entries. Yeah, no, we see that. We do see that happen most days. It has not been happening as much lately with our choppiness. Just because we've been chopping so much. We haven't been forming during our New York session. We haven't been forming a lot of 5 or 15-minute fair value gaps during our New York session lately. So we haven't really been seeing that happen. But on a normal day, yes, it happens pretty often. Alright, so you could look to take the longs back up to the top of the range. Off this 15-minute fair value gap down below. You can see we're going to pump again. I still don't really trust taking a trade inside of this range right now. But again, if you're trying to scalp, if you're just kind of trying to scalp this range and you do think those longs are going to come back in, this would be that level down here that you'd be looking to long off of. And you'd be looking to take it back up to the highs. Right, so still a decent reward there, over 100 ticks back to the highs. Just don't really love it because we haven't come down very much. But it looks like we're trying to pump right back up to the top of that range. And there's that pump. No, so let's say ES took out the lows. NQ did not. NQ showing strength to the upside. That would indicate a reversal back to the upside. So if ES is sweeping these lows down here, like we're seeing take out Asia low, we're seeing SMT where NQ isn't even close to taking out that level, then we would expect the longs to step back in. And vice versa. We see NQ taking out the lows, and ES is not taking out those lows and it's pumping. We're expecting NQ to do the same and to go pump after grabbing that sell side liquidity. It just depends on the day. Sometimes NQ is going to be stronger. Sometimes ES is going to be stronger. Yeah, no problem. So we're still just sitting in this range right now. I'm hoping, really hoping we don't range like this all morning. I want to see a breakout Again, yesterday this is exactly what we did, where we just sat in this opening range all day, or all morning. The one thing that's nice is yesterday we did not see the 15 or 5-minute close above that opening range, right, which is that first 9:30 candle here, right? So it's technically this candle we closed above. Yesterday we didn't see that. Yesterday we saw us not even close above the opening range until PM session. So I still want to see a breakout. But so far we're doing exactly what we did yesterday besides that close above there. So again, if we need to sit on the sideline and not take a trade, then we'll do that. I'm hoping we get a good setup. But if I don't find a trade, then I'm not going to put any risk into the market. Just one of those weeks. It's one of those weeks right now where it seems like we don't really have any setups until at least until like our lunch session or PM session. That's how it's been looking. So I'm really hoping we have a nice trade setup here, but as of right now, we don't. Right, the only thing I would even think about is just trading the range from the bottom back up to the top. Not really wanting to do that right now. I don't really love that. See how the 15-minute closed? 15-minute close still respecting that imbalance below. No displacement of the previous 15-minute candle. Still crazy SMT at the lows. ES took out Asia low. NQ's not even close to Asia low. So I'm sure some of you got in the longs down here when I talked about it. If you did, right, if you got an entry anywhere down here, you've probably already hit a 1-to-1. So you could look to take some TP. You could look to take some TP, and then you could look to try to hold it up back to the top of the range. But again, don't let a trade like this come back and stop you out in the red. If you've already hit 50, 60, 70 ticks on a trade, on a ranging type of day, you want to take that profit. You want to make sure it's not gonna come back and stop you out in the red. You want to take your profit when it's there. When we have this type of behavior, we're not seeing any follow through, we're not seeing any expansion, so you just want to take that profit. Make sure you're making it a risk-free trade and looking to take profit once we get back to the highs of the range. Yeah, so typically with range trading, I like to see that liquidity sweep before I get back into, before I take a trade back to the other side. So, like up here, I wouldn't have taken this trade because we displaced on the 5 and the 15 minute. And obviously we had news coming out, so I wouldn't have taken that trade. Well, let's say this was a normal day and we saw us come back down and grab liquidity and not displace. Okay, then I'm looking for longs back up to the top until we come up and grab liquidity at the top, and then I'm looking for shorts back down to the lows. All right, so you're just looking for those liquidity grabs to then reverse your position back to the other side, and that's that seek and destroy profile. That's how you would trade that. But when I see a displacement on a 5 and a 15-minute candle, I'm not going to be looking to reverse my position. It's like up here, I would not have looked to reverse that. But again, on a range where we have like a 15-minute fair value gap that we continue to bounce off of, every time we come back down into that level and we bounce off of it, just like yesterday, you could look to long from the bottom. You could look to long from the bottom. That's exactly what we did yesterday. We had a fair value gap here on the 15-minute at the lows, and we touched into it like 4 or 5 times. Let's see if we can find it. down here. So notice this is exactly what we did yesterday. We had this 15-minute fair value gap down here. Every time we trade into it, we bounce back up to the top. And then we finally had that breakout. Right, so this is that same idea. We'll see if it wants to do the same thing. Our trend is still bullish. Still expecting the longs to step in. So every time we touch into that 15-minute, we can be looking for longs. Until it shows us otherwise, right? Until we see it finally close below that range and displace it, then that's when we look to stop taking the longs after that. Okay, but look at this chop. Like, I don't want to trade right now when we're chopping like this. Look at all those wicks on the 1 minute. This is awful price action right now. Awful price action. I would never take a trade anywhere in this area. I'll never take a trade in the middle of a range like this. Never. What's the point of doing that? Just so you can catch maybe 30, 40 ticks. Then you're risking way more. You're seeing it right in the middle. For me, I'll never do that. The only time I'll take a trade in a range like this is after we come down back to test a low or sweep a liquidity level, and then I'll look to reverse the market back to the other side. But never in the middle of this range. Because, like, if you're trading in the middle of this range, I would like you to try to defend your position on why you're trading this. Because, to me, I don't see really any reason. There's not really anything here that tells me that you should be taking a trade here. Right? And if there's someone that's doing that, I would like to know what the reasoning behind that is. Like, what level are you looking at? Where's your stop loss at? Where's your TP at? And I think it's gonna kind of a hard. This would be a hard position to justify. Yeah, no, it's not fun, right? This price action is not fun, but it's been good for us to learn, right? It's been a great learning lesson for us to be able to just sit here and watch this terrible price action happen, and we can sit on our hands and not take any trades. So this in itself is a strong lesson for all of us. Strong lesson. That we do not need to take a trade. We don't need to. I don't think there's anybody forcing you to take a trade. Okay, so like I said, if you got in at the bottom here, this is when you would be looking to sell up here. Right? Now we just took out that buy side liquidity. And notice how every time we come up, or like we came up pretty quick and then we just come right back down. So looking at the 5 minute, I would want to see us kind of go sweep that buy side at the top before I would look to short back to the bottom. I'd want to see us maybe come take out that high. Alright, so if you got in that long from the bottom, you sell up here at the top. Once we reach the top of that range, boom, you got a nice little scalp there. Nice little scalp. I mean, our structure looks like it's trying to come up and sweep and actually push past those highs. But again, in this type of range, I'm not expecting the longs to really break out just yet. So we'll see. We'll see if they want to. Right, but I'd want to see us come up and grab buy side liquidity before I look to short. Right, we're grabbing some highs over here, but I want to see us come grab these highs up here and then come right back down and then look to short back down to the bottom. All right, but it's hard to do that when you have a bullish bias on the day because that breakout could happen. So we'll see once we grab that liquidity if we're going to actually displace above the highs on the 5-minute, and if we do, that's when I'm looking for longs. But as long as we come up and grab liquidity and then come right back down and don't displace, then I'm looking for shorts. But right now we're looking very bullish. It looks like we're trying to break out here. Okay, we got a strong displacement on the 1-minute. All right, this looks like we're really trying to pump for those highs now. All right, and like I said, if we miss out on this opportunity, I don't care. I've been waiting for this breakout. Been waiting for a breakout. Okay, and let's say you got in this long here and you sold up here. Don't be upset, because this type of action we've seen so far, everything told you to sell up here and to not keep holding it, right? Unless you really wanted to keep holding it, then yeah, you're making some extra profit right now. But I wouldn't have kept holding this trade. I would have sold at the top and gotten out. Okay, 1-minute fair value gap formed here. We just took out that liquidity level up top. This is that liquidity level we were talking about. 5-minute close with strong displacement above those highs. So again, if it runs away on us, it runs away. If we don't have any levels to get in the longs, I'm not going to get in the longs. Okay, so we're touching into that 4-hour imbalance now. Let's see what we do after we grab this liquidity level up top. The VIX is dumping right now. I mean, our technical analysis tells me long today. Everything tells me long on my charts. And then we had news come out positive. So I'm still, like I said, our bias has been long all day. Just been waiting for a breakout. And what we've been seeing is every time we break out like this, we don't really offer any entry opportunity. So you have to understand that sometimes price is going to run away. You can't chase it. It's not going to give you a great level to get in. And you have to be okay with that and understand not every trade is going to be your trade. Don't go against your plan just so you can try to get involved. Don't have that FOMO. Okay, so we displaced this liquidity level on the 1. We're bouncing off that 4-hour imbalance up top after grabbing an external liquidity level. All right, so we could expect a reversal here. So look at that 4-hour. This is that level we're talking about. External buy-side liquidity. We touch into a 4-hour fair value gap. Now we see what kind of reaction we get off of it. We have such a strong bullish trend that I think we might try to push right through it and go up for our next high. But we got to be aware of that strong fair value gap there, strong resistance level. Another fair value gap here on the 1-minute. Look at that 5-minute candle. Look how it's reacting. So let's see what we do if we want to trade back into this 1-minute fair value gap below. If we want to retrace back down, maybe into this one here. And then we'd have to wait for a nice reaction if we were going to long again. I'm not going to look to jump into the longs in the premium when we're already bouncing off of a 4-hour bearish imbalance. And if we're not even offered the opportunity to get involved, then there's no point for me to be in a trade. This has been kind of our theme. This has been kind of the theme of the market lately. It's been chop for a long time, and then it's been breakout, but don't offer any pullback in the market. Right? So every time we've been breaking out, there's been no pullback, which it is what it is. We just can't, find a good entry. So that's kind of been what it's been looking like. And again, I'm not going to trade getting the longs up here off the breakout. That's not what I'm looking to do, especially when we've been ranging the whole time. We could very easily grab that liquidity and come right back down. So just remember that. So like for example, let's say we displaced this high, and then if we traded back into one of these fair value gaps, I would have looked to get in the long. I would have looked for a long. But because we did not, you're not going to see me jump in. At that point, that would just be chasing price, getting a terrible entry. And then imagine if that pullback happened after you jumped in along because you were just chasing, and then finally that pullback happens, you get stopped out, and then it goes back to that level you were looking for originally. That can be pretty frustrating. I mean, we can see this SMT at the highs as well. I mean, ES hasn't even gone and taken out this high yet, and NQ is well above it. Got that 5-minute SIBI above on ES. See if it wants to push through. Looks like we're trying to push through this 1 hour now, or this 4-hour imbalance. 15-minute candle just closed. Complete displacement of that high on the 15-minute. Very strong bullish move here. Still no pullback or anything. You can see on the 5-minute time frame, no pullback. So on the 1 minute, we now have this 1 minute bullish order block. We haven't displaced it yet. Let's say we displace it now, and we trade back into it right here. Right, you could be looking for an entry off that level. But again, every time we do this, every time we offer some level that we can enter off of, we just continue to pump, and we never really go and test it. So we'll see if we want to get some pullback. All right, that next external liquidity level is all the way up at 18,980.50. Look at those 5-minute candles there. 3 very large gaps, or 2 5-minute fair value gaps being formed. No red candles, only 1 red candle on this move so far. And we haven't wanted to go retest it just yet, so I'll just continue to wait for an opportunity, and if the opportunity doesn't show, I'm not going to get involved. I mean, just look at that. We just keep running. We keep running. Let's look at the hourly. Hourly is pushing. It looks like it's going for the next liquidity level up top. We might go back for all-time highs again today. If we continue to get this move, if price wants to expand, we might go for all-time highs. Yeah, we have major SMT here. Just been waiting for some kind of pullback. Still haven't gotten it. Yeah, on ES as well, we saw ES come down and grab Asia low and then start to pump. I mean, just look, we're still not, we're not going down. I mean, this is not something I would ever do. What some people would do, is if they didn't get involved, they would just get an entry at the bottom of the new candle, and they would just continue riding it until there's a red candle. You can do that. I just don't really like that. So at any point here, we could see that pullback, and we could get a good entry. Just notice how every time we form a fair value gap, we don't go touch it whatsoever. Every time we formed one order block here, have not gone and touched it. So I'm not having FOMO. I don't care if I miss out on this move. I didn't have an entry. Still just waiting for an entry. Again, our analysis has been correct so far today. We talked about the longs this morning. We wanted to see the longs step in, and they're stepping in. It's crazy, crazy, crazy here. Will we get some pullback? So now we've created this big dealing range. Got all these 5-minute candles. Now if we're gonna get retracement, I would want to see us come back down to a discount of the range. Yeah, that was a crazy. It's been doing this so much, just breaks out without any pullback, no opportunity to get in. It's just manipulation. We just keep on running. I mean, look at this 4-hour. We are just pushing right through that 4-hour imbalance here. Right through this liquidity level to infinity and beyond. There's no stopping here. That's why when I see the strong, I mean, look at the 4-hour. We haven't had a red candle on our 4-hour since Tuesday at 2 a.m. So yesterday, early morning, we haven't had a down close candle on the 4-hour time frame. This tells me that we're gunning for the all-time highs again. Okay, so we finally pulled back into a 1 minute, but now this is when they start to manipulate, right? This is when the market starts to manipulate you into thinking you should get an entry every time, right here, and then it goes down. But again, I might start looking for an entry if we see a real bounce off a level like this. But again, you see us pushing right through that imbalance. We close right below that 1 minute. Disrespect it. Now let's see what we do if we come back down to some lower ones. This is when you got to be careful, because now you're at the top of the range. If we're getting pullback, we might try to pull back a little bit further. Or it'll do this and it'll disrespect our level, and then it'll continue to pump. Okay, so if we do close above again, let's say we pump one more time. Now we have a 1 minute order block that we're looking for as a support level, if we're to close above that level. Give us something good and cute. Alright, so you could look to take the longs now, assuming that we're going to pump through that order block. I don't like to take that kind of entry. I like to wait for us to continue on that trend and then come back and retest. This is kind of why, because we start to stall a little bit. Alright, we're starting to stall. This is the first time we've seen any kind of stalling. We had one other stall here at that order block. So we can see that pullback, right? This is why I don't get an entry unless I see displacement. All right, so we touched into that 1 minute below. Still going to be very careful here. All right, if we look at the top to the bottom of the range, that discount is all the way down here. I don't know if we're going to try to go all the way back down to a discount, but when we see strong retracement, that's what we would expect. Waiting to see if we want to break out again here. Looks like we want to get some pullback. See, there's still a lot of reward up to that next external high. We're just getting a lot of stalling right now. So if we get pullback, I'd want to see us come back down, possibly down to a discount. Don't know if we're going to pull it back that far. At least into this 15-minute imbalance down here, or this 5-minute imbalance below the order block. Remember, we just talked about this, how I love this entry. This entry right here. So this would be my ideal entry down here, but if we start to pump, we could still look for the longs here if we're not trying to go down. A lot of orders out of 900. Yeah, okay. I mean, I could see us, like I said, guys, when we form an order block on the 5-minute, we have a fair value gap below. That's typically 5 and 15-minute. Those are my favorite entries. We talked about that earlier. Want to see us come down into that fair value gap. Again, sometimes NQ just wants to keep pumping and doesn't want to go down and test those levels, so I'm still going to be looking for that too. So we're getting some stalling. I'm hoping we don't just start chopping again. Want to see us come down, test that 5-minute, and just start to pump. We can see on the 15-minute as well, getting that pullback. There's that 5-minute level I'm talking about right here. Alright, so I'd look to be a little more aggressive on this entry here. If we get any kind of bounce off that 5-minute, I'm looking to enter. And again, if I end up taking a loss, then I'll be waiting for us to pull back down to a discount. So we'll see. Well, I just want to see some type of reaction off this 5-minute. Like that. Let's see. Alright, I'm going to look for an entry here. I just got an entry in the longs and half a lot. I'm testing it out. Again, it's a little bit more aggressive of an entry, but I'm willing to do that right now. Got kind of a higher entry, 16.75. And like I said, if we want to pull back all the way down to a discount, then that's the loss I'm willing to take here. I'm going to keep a 55 tick stop under right around that 0.5 of the 5-minute fair value gap. 18,903. So still just half a lot right now. I've not added into a full. When I'm being a little more risky, I like to kind of chill out. I don't like to take a crazy position. This is that entry I love to take, guys. We touch into a 5-minute fair value gap underneath a 5-minute order block on a strong bullish trend. So we'll see if we can push through this 1-minute bearish imbalance here. Like I said, we could see more pullback all the way down to a discount of that range. So just be aware of that. I'd be looking to take profit up first TP at least at this high up here. We got to push through that 1-minute imbalance though. If we continue to respect these bearish levels, we might see a little bit of a drop here. This is the first trade so far I've seen that I'm actually willing to get into though. I'm willing to put some risk on the table here. We just got to see that pullback. We might touch it. We might try to push into this 5-minute a little bit more. 5-minute closed. Still bouncing off that level. Still don't have the conviction to add into a full just yet, just because we're respecting these bearish levels right now. And we can see we're kind of trying to push down further into this imbalance. And since I have my stop at the 0.5 level, I'm not really looking to add into a full just yet until I see a clear, aggressive push to where right when I add into a full, I can move my stop up and expect that expansion move to happen. My stop is at 18,903. 18,903, right around that 0.5 of the 5-minute imbalance. We keep bouncing off that 5-minute. So I'm liking the reactions we're getting. Again, we're just not getting any fall through just yet. No fall through just yet. We really have to push through this bearish imbalance here on the 1-minute. If we can push through that bearish imbalance, I think we'll be all right. Let's say we do come down and we want to stop us out. We want to push through. Then I would be waiting for us to come down and touch into that 0.5. Down below into that fair value gap here. All right, so that's what I'm waiting to see happen. We continue to react, but again, we might want to push through a little bit, so we'll see. All right, very willing to be aggressive on this move, though. Okay, we're getting a lot of stalling here, but so far we have not really tried to push up at all. We're getting a continued reaction. We keep bouncing off that 5-minute. But our structure is starting to look a little bit bearish, like we're trying to go back down into a discount. So, like I said, if we're respecting our 1-minute bearish levels, that shows that we're trying to make a small push down. We'll see here what happens. Can we get that push? Still in half a lot right now. Even if I only take half a lot here, that's okay with me. My first TP, I'm looking for like, what is it? About 80 ticks at the top. You guys could take a first TP earlier if you want. Okay, that's a nice push. If you guys want to take a TP more, somewhere around a 1-to-1, around 55 ticks, you can do that. Great push so far. Now let's just see if we can get follow through. See if we can get some follow through on this move. Take us all the way up, back up to the highs here. You could always make it a risk-free trade by moving your stop to break even. At least now we're in the green. Finally in the green on this trade. We weren't very far in the red whatsoever. And this is one of those trades I'm going to hold on to for a while. So I'll take my first TP once we break the high, or even if we're starting to stall up at the highs. All right, we just hit 50 ticks. So if you have a 50 tick stop, you want to take a 1-to-1, you could take TP. I'm looking more for a little closer to a 2-to-1 or closer to a 1.5 here. See, this next 5-minute candle is about to close. Would like to see a strong move up. Continue to try to go take out those highs. Let's see if we can do it. I like that we displaced that 1-minute bearish fair value gap there. All right, ultimately, I'm looking for us to go take out that external high up top. And I'd pretty much just be holding on to one contract for that. If we were going to make a strong push, I would probably just hold on to it for a while. We'll see if we want to actually push up. 5 minutes closing here. So I don't like that fall through on the 5-minute. Wanted to see us close up here with some more strength. We didn't see that. Back around break even again. Right, if you want to cut your losses, you can cut them if you want to get out of break even, right? Because we did not close good on the 5-minute time frame, as we can see. I wanted to see a strong body bullish close on that candle, and we came all the way back down and closed kind of weak. We're still reacting off that 5-minute imbalance. Still getting a good reaction, so I'm willing to still hold on to this one for now. And this is the risk I was willing to take from the start. If you're not willing to take the risk, then get out. All right, then just get out of the trade. If it's not a trade you like, then just get out. The setup for me is still there. Obviously, it's higher risk. It's a little more, riskier because we're seeing stalling, and we could see a pullback all the way back down to a discount of this range. So this is just me being aggressive, trying to see if we're going to catch that continuation of the bullish trend. And if we don't, I'll look for a re-entry down lower. So we hit 50 ticks on it. Again, I don't know if anybody took profit or if everybody was kind of still holding on to it. I didn't take any profit. I'm still holding on to this trade. You see the 5-minute didn't... 5-minute doesn't look great. 5-minute does not look great. Wanted to see more of a reaction. Wanted to see a better follow through. I mean, we continue to bounce off this 5-minute every time we touch into it, which is a good sign. We just don't... We have our stop loss in the middle. We can't keep our... I can't keep my stop all the way at the bottom, so... A little bit harder, but... We'll see. We're kind of just ranging right now. A lot of ranging up and down. Yeah, I mean, we're looking like we're trying to come down and grab my stop. When I see that weakness on the 5-minute, it tells me we might try to come down and grab my stop loss. And we're making some lower lows. Again, we're not moving down with a lot of strength. Like, we're not seeing a crazy push down just yet, which is why you still see me holding it. But our structure is starting to look like it's trying to come down a little bit. But I'm still liking our reaction every time we get into that 5-minute imbalance. Got to be aware of this 15-minute close as well. Could be setting up for a 15-minute close, new hour, for some pullback on the new hour. So far, we just haven't really been moving much. On this trade, we've just been kind of chilling, not really moving too much. Kind of lost volume. Volume died down on us a little bit. So I'm still sitting in half a position. I still have not added into a full. Okay, I'm going to add into a full here, and I'm going to look to take profit around this high up here again. So that means I'm going to move my stop up a little bit. Move my stop up to 50 ticks. 18. Let's see where my entry moved up to. 17. Entry moved up to 17, so I'm going to move my stop up 50 ticks to 18,904.50. I'm going to be a little more aggressive here, and if we can make one more push, I'll just take my TP up at this high at 50 ticks. Move my stop to break even. If not, again, we haven't taken any trades today, so I've got a lot of room to trade, so I'm okay with jumping into a full position here right around our break even. Right, if we get 50 ticks, I'll take that first TP at this high. Not great follow through so far. Let's see, we got another bounce off that 5-minute. Candle was looking great. Can we get one more reaction and just push up from here? Can we do it, NQ? I'm going to set a limit order at that high for my first TP for half my position. Just looking for a little something here. All we're asking for is 50 ticks. Again, we've just been kind of sitting around break even right now. Sitting around break even. To me, it looks like we're just gearing up for one more push up. Just for another push, but just waiting for that push to happen. Again, we could be waiting for that next hourly candle to open to make a real move. And we're seeing that pullback on the hourly. The 15, we might be waiting on the 15 to come down into that fair value gap. So if we're starting to do that, then I'll just get out and wait for that new, wait for another entry. I mean, the VIX is dumping right now still. ES still has a lot of buy-side levels to take out. Just have to be aware of our possible pullback down to a discount. Guys, got to know the risk. I'm trying to tell you all of the risk that I'm talking about. Every single trade I get into, I understand what risk I'm putting into the market. I'm not nervous about it. I'm not freaking out. I understand how much I'm risking. And if it doesn't work out, then I'm looking for that next entry. If you're getting into a trade and you're freaking out about this right now, you probably should not be in this trade. If you find yourself going crazy with just high stress levels, trying to sell, trying to buy, trying to sell, trying to buy, you probably should be sitting on the sideline. Like I said, if you don't like the setup, then just don't trade. Just stay out. Get out around break even. Maybe cut your losses early. Maybe just take profit. Like when I set up here, you could have taken profit up there. You got to learn to be able to just sit through these trades, even while you're in the red. For a lot, like we've been in the red for a lot of this trade, and we have not been seeing the follow through we've wanted. And if you're freaking out and you can't hold your trade, and you're scared to lose, you might need to take a step back and think about some things. So we'll see if we want to come down. Again, we're about to close on the hourly time frame. See if we want to stop us out and go down to that 15-minute. We've just been kind of chopping, just kind of chilling here. getting closer to our stop loss. Still bouncing off the 5 minute, but not enough follow through just yet. I mean, look at these wicks down here. This is why I'm still sitting in this trade, because of these wicks, because we continue to see a bounce off that 5 minute. If we saw a strong candle closes down to the downside, you would not see me sitting in this trade still. I would be completely out of this. But because we keep bouncing off that 5 minute, because we have such a strong bullish trend, that's why you still see me sitting in it. Again, be careful here. We might see a crazy manipulation here at the new hour. So just be aware of that. We're about to close this hourly candle, and I'm gonna still hold through. See if we can at least hit that 50 tick mark. Take a first TP. Can we hit that 50 ticks here? Oh man, we're getting close. We're getting close. Come on. We got so close to that 50 ticks. Again, you guys can move your stop to break even if you want, if you don't want to risk this. I don't like that we didn't get up to that 50 tick mark. I don't like that we're stalling so much. And that's because of this 15-minute imbalance down below. Again, I'm loving that previous 5-minute candle. We can see the hourly. I just don't like how we're opening. I want to see if we can at least hit 50 ticks. Take one TP, move our stop to break even, and then just see what happens from there. See if we're going to get that pump and that follow through. We're almost at that 50 tick mark. We're getting very close. You don't have to wait for 50 ticks. If you have a smaller stop loss, you could take your profit now. Oh my gosh. There we go. All right, moving my stop to break even. First TP has been taken. Took us long enough. And now I'm going to hold on to this one. Now I'm going to hold on to this one for a little while. If we can see a pump through these highs aggressively, I'll just keep holding on to it. If we stall up at the highs, I'll probably just take my profit and walk away. So our stop is at break even, which moved all the way up to 18.25. But there's a win for us there. That's what happens when you stick to your plan. You let your trade play out. So stop loss is here. So at least we caught a 1-to-1 on that. I know it's not anything crazy, but still a 1-to-1, still a win. So we grabbed TP, we grabbed that liquidity, and we're seeing that reaction kind of coming back down. So we'll see if we're going to stop us out, or if we're going to get that continued pump. Again, there's a possibility if we continue to pump here. Again, we're getting closer to lunch, so we might see some type of reversal or pullback. But there's a possibility we go all the way to that external high, which is why I'm willing to hold on to this trade for now. That's why I'm willing to hold on to this, because of that possibility. If we come up here and take out this high up here, and we kind of stall, I'll probably just get out completely. Maybe look for a re-entry after that. And you guys could take that full TP. I mean, we'll see. If we take out this high here, you might see me take full TP. Or at least I'll take off one more con. I'll take off one more con at that high. And then I'll just leave one runner. So right now, stop's still at break even. Let's see if that 5-minute can come up and displace this high. If the 5-minute comes up and closes above these highs, this trade will probably keep running all the way to our external high. But if we see a crazy pullback and we don't see any follow through on that 5-minute, then we might just want to get out of our position. Alright, but we've stayed patient. We've waited for a setup. Now we've caught a win. Now this is a risk-free trade. Doesn't it feel good when you stay patient and just wait for your A+ setups? I don't know about you guys. It feels good to me. Feels good to me. Notice how we didn't take 20 trades in this chop. We just sat with our one trade and then we added into a full. Don't need to take a bunch of trades. Just need to... There's... Okay, next TP just got hit. So now I'm just holding one runner here. Holding one runner now. I'm going to move my stop into profit. I'm going to move my stop a little bit into profit here. I'm going to move my stop up to... Let's see, where do I want to move it? 18,92375. Look at that pump, guys. Look at that pump. So you could take full TP. If we start to pull back pretty far, I'll just take TP up here. But if we keep running, I'm going to let this go all the way to that external high. That's what I'm talking about here, guys. So far, 111 ticks on this trade. See what happens when you don't get FOMO and you just let your trades play out. You just wait for your setup. I'm going to move my stop a little bit further into profit here. I'm going to move my stop up to 18,927.50. 18,927.50, so it's around that first TP level, so almost 50 ticks in profit. Again, if we start to get some crazy pullback, I might look to get out, but look at that. 5 minute, we saw a displacement, guys. I think this is going to really keep going. I almost want to leave my stop at break even just to give it a chance, but again, I'm not going to do that. If we do come stop me out, I'll probably look for another re-entry in the longs. We got that strong displacement on the 5 minute. We'll see if the 15 wants to displace. But this is that ideal setup that's going to take us all the way up to that external high. So that's why I'm just holding on to one runner here. Just letting it run. See if we can reach that 18,980.50 level. And if we do get some crazy pullback, then I'll just get out of the position. I'll take my win and walk away. Okay, 1 minute fair value got formed here. Let's see if we can bounce off that level. Get another pump. Take us up. Take us up to that external high. I mean, just look at that 5 minute, guys. This was a nice little trade setup we had. Finally got that follow through. Finally got a 5 minute displacement. Now I'm expecting us to go take out that high up there. So hopefully we want to do that without stopping us out. But if we do get stopped out, we're still in profit. So who caught that one with me, guys? Anybody? Anybody? I've seen like a few people say something. There we go. Come on, we needed a nice little win, didn't we? It's been rough lately. There we go. There we go, guys. I've just been waiting for you guys to wake up. I know we've been all sleepy. It's been tough. Look at this nice little setup we have. I'm gonna move my stop all the way up to the low of this order block now. Back to that other TP 18,936.75. If I get stopped out there, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with getting stopped out up here, because again, that's still up at that next TP level we had, so we're not losing out on too much there if we do come down and stop us out. Personally, you guys don't have to do that. You could keep holding this trade for with wherever. If you want to keep your stop at break even, you could do that. If you want to take the full TP up here, you could do that. So we'll see. Stop loss is all the way up here. My stop loss is now at 18,936.75. Hey, there we go. Worked out. Worked out. I love it. I love it. Gave you that extra confluence there, huh? So guys, remember I'm just writing one. I'm writing one contract, one runner here. My stop is very close here, so we could get stopped out pretty soon. I'm okay with that. I don't mind. And oh, we got so close. We got within the tick of my stop. All right, I am out. Nice trade there. Got the win. At the top, 126 ticks. Pretty solid move for us there. Waited for that 5-minute order block fair value gap setup. We trade into the fair value gap. We had to wait for a while. Then we got that 5-minute displacement candle. Beautiful setup there. I'm fully out. Love to see it. Let's see how that 5-minute candle closed there. Look at another setup here. 5-minute order block with the fair value gap below. Are we going to see a bounce off that level? I use Tradovate. Tradovate is my broker. So this is that other setup here where we have order block on the 5, fair value gap down below. One sec, guys. One sec. Alright, I'm back. So did we touch into that gap? Let's see. It doesn't look like we touched into it. So we haven't tested that fair value gap yet. This is that same type of setup, right? Order block, fair value gap down below. Looks like we're still trying to pump here. Again, I was happy with just taking my profit there. I didn't mind. I didn't really care about holding on for too long. Yeah, at that point, I mean, I wanted to hold up to this high up here, obviously. But I just wanted to take my profit when it was there. I'm good with taking it. Oh yeah, we're retesting that high here. Again, I would have looked for a re-entry down here if we tapped into that 5-minute. We just didn't tap into it. If you're still holding your OG entry, I mean, it still looks amazing. You can still keep holding it all the way up to that high. Still a very solid setup here. But personally, guys, I was ready to just take my profit and run. Got my win. I'm happy. Dang, nice. Barely didn't get filled, huh? That was so close. Yeah, it's annoying when that happens. Yeah, I mean, guys, that's the lesson for today, right? We waited through all of that pump. We didn't see any entry opportunity for us to take. Okay, we didn't see any entries here, right? There was no pullback. There was not really anything. And then we waited. We had one of my A+ setups that I like to take. Order block, fair value gap below on a strong trend. Trade into that. Take the longs. Boom. And this one could keep going. If you're still holding on to it, you might want to still hold on to it up to that high. I mean, like I said earlier, we came to this day expecting longs to step in. It looks like we're trying to gun for all-time highs here. We'll see what we do once we reach that next high. That next liquidity level there. 15 minutes about to displace that high as well. So, I mean, yeah, these longs look like they're going to keep running. Running. 1 minute till that 15-minute candle closes. Again, guys, I'm content with my trade. Even if we do come up and hit this high up here, I'm still happy with my profit. Still caught good profit on it. Yeah, we have a 4 hour minus OB up here. We got a 1 hour strong resistance, right? We've got that resistance level. This is more, this 1 hour is bigger. We also have that 1 hour imbalance that we're in. So we've got some resistance up here. We could see more pullback. But with the way we're moving today, it looks like we're trying to just pump right through. Doesn't look like we're stopping for anything. And look at that, we're still going. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are still holding, I'd be holding. I'd personally, if I was still in this, I'd be holding all the way up to that high. Probably getting out at that high, calling it a day. Yes, sir. I'm excited for that masterclass too, man. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Of course. Yeah. So anybody, Jerry, you're still holding. Anybody else still holding? This one's going. It's going for that external high there. Oh yeah, that's, I mean, this trade is pretty beautiful. Closing at 967, you just got filled, huh? Got filled at 967 there. There we go. There we go. Well, nice little session here for us, guys. Again, if we take out this level up here, once we take out this external high, just be mindful of pullback in the market after taking out an external high. Be mindful of that. But again, there's not much stopping us. Looks like we're going for all-time highs again. So we'll see what we do once we take out this external high. If you're still holding this trade, yeah, I mean, obviously you already know, but you probably should have your stop into profit at this point. All right, but after that one, I mean, I'm good. I'm content. Happy with that trade. And yeah, so I mean, I'm going to honestly end the session here. Like I said, full TP would be at that external high, 18,980.50. Appreciate you guys for joining up. Remember, there is a book club today at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. And then we'll have our prop firm session 10:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll end there. So take it easy until then. I'll talk to you all soon. I'll leave you with this. Remember, this is that full TP I was looking for. And be mindful of a possible pullback in the market after taking out that external high. All right, guys. God bless everyone. Stay safe. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.